I can see a lot of them just never ever panning out to half of what any of these players are on the scene.
No, definitely not.
It's not just that, man. It's like the fact of fucking in
This
years
is
prior when they took I was saying this to Jordan the other day. In years prior, I think it was 2009 when they took like Tavares, Eberle. They had the year that they came back and beat Russia with like 2 seconds left and all that. Even that year, remember they had like Patrice Cormier, De La Rova, those dudes, but it was one line. And then other 3 lines were absolute studs. And then the 4th line is like, go out there and put the buys through the fucking glass. That's your objective. Yeah. You're killing penalties and you're putting people through you're hitting. And also the buys were good in junior. They still could get 60, 70 point seasons. So they weren't, and then like you just said, Jordan, Zellweger, after Schaefer got hurt this year, they have had nobody like that.
Dude, they had no offensive defenseman available for that position. They had nobody to quarterback their power play.
Oh, and well, we're going to go into that because, okay, before we get too into this, because I think we should introduce ourselves and stuff because Good Laff Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Julian Smith.
I'm your other host, Jordan Reed.
And we got our good friend with us today. Good friend. Would you mind saying who you are?
How's it going, boys? FellerPine here. Just, showing up for a good laugh on the podcast with boys. What do you say?
Yes, sir. What do you have, bye? What do you have, buddy? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Boys. Anytime.
Well, we'll get you on another time again to talk about other things, but I think this is good conversation to get people to know another side of you too. I think they know the hockey side of you, but maybe not so much your knowledge on the fact.
Well, I joined the Locked On Senators podcast one time and shared a bit of that, but that was really just like talking Ottawa, so this is a bit different.
I've been on the Leafs one too in playoffs.
Locked On Leafs?
Flipping out, man. Yes. I call into the radio
Oh, yes.
I call into radio shows here all the time because I'm on the same time. We're on the same time as Toronto. So like any Toronto shows I can call in during them. And like the Jays after show that comes on Sportsnet, I call in all the time. Like I think of 1 year I was on it like 40 times. Buys you my name.
Oh my, you're a maniac. Just Rantin and Ravin, dude.
Dude, I
never positive.
I wish I listened to the Leafs stuff because I definitely hear a bit of, or the Jays or whatever. As I always listen to the TSN 1200, hearing all the guys calling in, screaming about it and everything. So
yeah,
but yeah, that'd be fun.
So yeah, I guess just like our last episode, we're gonna do just a specific topic today, and want to thank everybody we had some really great comments about the wrestling episode. Thank Josh again for being a part of it. It was a lot of fun.
Good luck, yeah.
For everyone who listened, thanks so much. And but today's topic, for everyone knows, or anyone who's interested or just want to hear us rant and rave about it, because today's episode is called Rantin' and Ravin' with the Boys. We're going to be talking about the Under 20 World Junior Hockey Championship that just happened in Ottawa, and the specifically the Canadian team and how they came up short. The other night when they got put out to get the checks, I was screaming about the players individually and all this stuff, and I'm like, but then I was like really thinking about it, and then I listened to a couple podcasts and read some stuff, and I was like, oh, not any of their faults. It's an organization's fault. It's Hockey Canada's fault. 2 years in a row getting put out in the quarterfinals against the Czechs by 1 goal, 5th place for the first time ever losing in 2 quarterfinals in a row. No, I think they did it back in the 70s/80s, but that's when they used to.
They said it was like over 30 years, yeah.
But
it's unacceptable
yeah. Back then they used to take. No, go ahead.
We're known for hockey here, like in Canada, and just it just sucks, man. Like, we growing up, like what we were talking about, Jared, just before we started, growing up, just like watching all these, like the World Juniors and all the hockey and stuff, and now we're at a point where it's like, now it's like we're at a point like, are we even going to make the the medal games or what?
Oh my God, man. Yeah, we were just used to winning back then, man. Just pretty much guaranteed. a medal at least, and now falling short. Thus,
And just actually interesting fact I found out the other day. They used to take the Memorial Winning Cup team to the World Juniors before they used to take the best on best. Just an interesting fact. But that's how they used to lose 2 years in a row. It's because it's like different teams put together are just good players, but it's like just a team. I have enough teams that I cheer for that things are up in the air all the time. And I don't need, like, when it comes to Hockey Canada and like the World Juniors specifically, the one thing that I had in my life for a long time was the stability of we're going to make the gold medal game. That's, I think 6 years in a row. Was it 6 years in a row we won it? There was like, we went on a 5 or 6 year run, then they lost, and then they went on another 5 or 6 year run again. So just like the 90s, teams with like Tucker, Iginla, Jason Allison, those guys, and then you get teams with Crosby, Bergeron, Shea Weber, and all that. I think the first starting point is just talking about the real disappointments of the team and just, I guess, the little bit of the journey they had. They won the first game against Finland 4-0 on Boxing Day. I think everybody thought after that game, because I was worried going into the tournament because I've read stuff that like they didn't take these players, and I have a bit of familiarity with the OHL because I go see Storm games whenever I'm in Guelph. So I was like, not taking these guys. I was like, I'll give it a chance. And then they win 4-0. I'm like, they're going to win the gold medal.
Hopefully.
No, I'm serious. No, but didn't everyone have a bit of ease when they were like, oh.
Well, like, I thought Finland was going to be a tough game for them. I thought it'd be a challenge.
Yeah, and I honestly, until about the third period, Canada was out shooting them by like almost double digits.
Right.
So like it was, and then like the third period when you're up like 3-0, the other team is going to have a bit of a comeback. So I was just like, whatever. And then we go into the next night. They're going in against Latvia, and I was like,
"Oh, it's a big 10-0 win here. Good laugh, blowout."
Well, yeah. I mean, going into that though, but like, just seeing how they did in the pre-tournament too. They did okay in the pre-tournament, and then they start off, with that big win, and you're like, okay, let's go, like, keep it rolling. But then Latvia comes along, and it's just like, how is this even possible, guys? Like, how do we lose to Latvia right now at the stage of like development that we're at with the what we were talking about with the the state of hockey in Canada? It's wild.
My opinion is people are like goalie, and I'm like, no. Shots from the point, no one in front of the net, like, you know what I mean? Like a goal these days with most goalies who are most goalies are playing in like either in college or in the CHL or in some like men's league in Europe. The guys that they can see the puck, they're going to stop it.
Yeah.
And like, so that's what the Latvian goalie did. Not to take anything away from him. Like a close game, I can almost accept because it happens. Losing, that was when I was like, they're not going to do anything with this tournament. I knew at that moment, I was like, wow, this might be it is the biggest disappointment in World Junior history. And to be on the other side of that.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. And like, you can just go into so many different aspects of why this team didn't succeed. And it's crazy. Like, their power play wasn't good. Their penalty kill wasn't very good. Like, nothing was working in their favor. And, it all comes back with a lot of it comes back with the roster that they just assembled for the team. They had so much talent just left off of it, right? So,
well, and also like it's the misuse of players, like you said.
And
I think they interviewed Oliver Bonk before Game 1 against Finland because they named him power play quarterback. They asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to get used to this position. It's something I've never played in my life."
Yeah, like what?
What?
Yeah.
And like, you're a player. You're going to take whatever's given to you. You're not going to say, no, I'm not playing that. Like, you're going to be like, yeah, sure, if you trust me, and I'll do it. But it's also like, man, and then I think they went like 0 for 5 against Finland. So then the next night against Latvia, they're like, we're going to put Schaefer on our power play one as quarterback. He goes
She should have
down,
been. Yeah.
goes down, breaks collarbone.
Is that what the injury was? Collarbone?
Yeah, he destroyed his
like
collarbone on the net.
Yeah, like clavicle, which is around it's collarbone. So he breaks that instantly. They go from like he's the only guy who can do what he does. Sam Dickinson, I've seen a lot of Knights play a couple times. He's pretty good on power play. He's not so much of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Remember Marc-Andre Bergeron? He reminds me of him.
Yeah.
He's always like he's
a lot bigger though.
A lot bigger, but he can skate well and he shoots it really well. But he
can do about everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's more of a dependable defenseman other than that goal that he lifted into the net.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, that was shocking by.
Schaefer goes down instantly. The next 6 of your defensemen are basically the same guy. No offense to the guys. They're all good. They're
all good in their own right. Absolutely, man. But you know what we're trying to talk about is the people that they left off, and like one being Zane Parekh, literally one of the most talented offensive defensemen in Canada right now. And let's just not put him on the team. And like I was mentioning to you before we started or yesterday or whatever, Carter Yakimchuk, he's literally automatic on the power play. He scores like every single time, and he can quarterback any power play. And it's just. And there's more than that.
Taking those two dudes, you can almost play the two of them on the same first power play. You don't even have to go 4 forwards. Yeah. My biggest issue with Zane Parekh not being named to the team is in the Canada U18s, he had 3 points in 5 games.
Yeah.
Which I think is like enough to take the guy. In the playoffs last year, in the Memorial Cup alone, 5 games, 5 points. Last year, 66 games, 96 points. This year, 32 games, 43 points.
Just dominant, right?
Yeah.
Just crazy. Yeah. And then well, I'm looking at Yakimchuk there. He, 31 games so far this year. As a defenseman, 14 goals. Like, that's crazy.
That's what I mean.
That's outrageous, by.
And you're leaving that talent off of the table. And I was saying to you, too, he dominated the preseason to the point where I was like, he's making the Ottawa Senators, and he's going to be their best defenseman. He had like 7 points in 4 games or something like that. I was like, man, what? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He just gets drafted, and he's like 18, dominating. He played every preseason game, or not everyone, but right to the end of it, anyways.
And to be fair to the players on the team currently, I'm not going to nitpick their stats.
No,
currently, because that's unfair to them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say
some of them do have some pretty good stats. Yeah.
I'm also not going to say who shouldn't have made it, because I don't know if I should. I don't have that opinion, but I can say who should have made it. I think.
Yeah.
And having the power play issues they had until the game against Czech Republic, because their power play, against the States it was all right. Against Czechs it was all right, but like, you got to think if they take Zane, their power play, he scores at least 1 or 2 power play goals, gets 1 or 2 power play assists in the tournament.
Yeah, creates a bit more offense. Like what was going on, and the way I was looking at it, it was like there's a lot of point shots and just like let's look for tips. It's like there was no creativity going on the power play like they should have had at all.
But it also felt like there was never anyone in front of the net, but when there was, they scored. That's kind of how I felt. I kind of felt when they did crash and try to create like a lot of chaos, it worked. But then like sometimes it would be like Easton Cowan circle around and like just shoot from top of the circle and like just no one in front of the net or nothing. It's like, man. And then like you look and like Richie's over on the other side, like just teeing up for a bomb. And it's like, dude, have a quick look, man.
They were playing like they were panicked too. The entire tournament, it felt like.
They also played a little bit selfish.
The most undisciplined. It's like the most undisciplined hockey I've ever seen, dude. Just penalty after penalty.
And that's what happens when you don't when you take the players that they did. Great players, but penalties are going to happen because they're those types of players. Like basically their entire defense was those type of guys who would like Andrew Gibson loves getting in there, getting rough. And then you get like their forwards, like Martone. The whole fourth line was a bunch of bangers, but it's like it felt like those guys were in the box all the time.
They took the most penalties in the tournament. The team did.
I would say by a long shot.
By a margin, I'd say, yeah. I would try and pull it up, but
and you lost games because of it. Actually,
yes.
They had 113 penalty minutes in 5 games.
They lost every game because of it. They lost against Latvia. Latvia scored 2 power play goals. They lost against States. They took like 7 or 8 against the States.
Yeah.
It was just brutal. And then they took one in the last 2 minutes against Czechs.
Brutal. That is brutal, dude.
That penalty against the Czechs was crazy because they were dominating the game like that third period up until that point. Absolutely dominating. That was the best they were playing in the whole tournament from what I see.
Yes, man. Like when they tied it 3-3, I was like, okay, yeah, they're gonna win this game and they're gonna.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I feel good about this. Like this, they're gonna win here now, or they're gonna win in overtime. And then, Buddy, I can't remember what the penalty was, but wasn't it just like a cross check or?
No, dude, it was a kneeing penalty. They called it a knee.
And Buddy fake, like, did he fake it or something?
No, that was the one that Buddy got kicked out for.
Oh yes, yeah, that was a different one. That was the same game though, right?
Yeah, same game. And like 2 kneeing penalties, both of them they had to go upstairs for. Like, the thing that bothers me about the last one, Andrew Gibson, I thought he was great. I think he's actually going to be a great stay-at-home defense Sunday. Reminds me of like younger Chris Tanev type of thing, like going to be eating puck and stuff like that. But 2 minutes left. The refs are just, they want to call something in the last 2 minutes and make it about themselves, because that's what the tournament was. It was refs making games about themselves, in my opinion. If you can't, like, a ref who don't let 10 minutes of hockey go by unless there's some egregious fucking hit from behind or elbow or something brutal is not a good ref. I don't care what the rule book says. Like, I understand you got to call it, but you should also feel the game out. Like, you should not call that kneeing that Buddy got kicked out for. Bob McKenzie's opinion, and this is a guy who's done World Juniors for like 40 years. He said it shouldn't even been a penalty.
A lot of people said it shouldn't have been a penalty, let alone in fucking 5 minutes.
It was Bobby first.
Yeah, it was.
And it's because Buddy stayed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was looking around like, oh, man.
But still, I'll tell you, they always, like, it's Steve Dangle's big thing now. If you get hit, pretend you're dead. Make the stretcher come out and get you. Like, make sure that
and then
player
you're back out for the next shift on the power play.
Oh, well, I told Ravin this story last night. It's quick story. Gold medal game in Newfoundland against Fortune. Austin Newhook goes in, gets hit from behind. He's down. One of our coaches runs out, goes in Austin's ear. Austin's like, yeah, I'm going to get up there now. And he's like, no, don't stay down. They're going to kick Buddy out if you stay down. Austin stayed down. I stay down to kick Buddy out. Buddy is easily their best defenseman. Kick Buddy out. They already only had 5 defensemen. Kick Buddy out. He's off. Next shift, Austin's out there, scores on power play. That was and Buddy scored against Canada, or had an assist at least. It was one or the other. I think
sure
players who stay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Was it Sikora?
Sikora. Is it Peter Sikora's like son or something?
No, just say.
But his name is Peter Sikora. Yeah.
And number 17 too.
Oh my god, must have been his favorite player by.
So that's basically the issues there, and then like Germany game, they only won 3-0. Like that was another game where it was like a slog for them. Like I felt like they couldn't make a pass. I felt like they couldn't, no chemistry. It felt like guys who were just met each other and threw the sticks in the middle every game. Like, but you know why it was that way? Because I didn't know this. They didn't practice after the Latvia game. They didn't practice after the German game, and they didn't practice after the game against States.
Yeah, leading up to the Czechia game.
Like that's
an elimination game, and you're not going to practice. At least,
and you got new lines.
At least go out there and get some confidence by and pass, shoot the puck and score a few goals in practice, make you feel good. At least, I don't know.
Like I said to Robin, it's like I do theater, and it's like doing a play without rehearsing it. Just no, it's all going to be okay, boys. We'll chat about it. It's all best kind.
Yes, bye.
You know what I mean? Like, can we at least go there and try this? Like
I just said, like, if you're just to go out there and you have a laugh with the guys and throw around the puck, even
that can make all the difference in the world, man.
That's not going to tire the guys out. That's going to give them, like I said, it's going to make them more comfortable playing with each other.
But everybody had the same schedule.
Yeah.
Like, no, Canada had the late game, which in my opinion is what you can practice early in the morning. Also, like, we need the practice buys. Like, if you're too tired, no, and also no excuse that like you got teams traveling all around the world. Half the buys walk down the road.
Yeah.
And we can get into the chemistry that like other teams would have had. Like, some of the guys on US were playing together for 3 and 4 years. Like, they knew each other, they knew what to be at, and they understood each other. And not only that, they practiced, dude. The coach came out and said, like, the practicing is the main the aspect of like why this is so successful too, or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but they won the tournament. Like,
US, their first line, which is Leonard, Perreault, and I forget the other feller's name. He might be going first overall this year. They all play on Boston together.
Was it Hagens?
Yes. So they're the first line on Boston, and we're the first line for the States. Like, and this is a good little segue into Beckett Seneca. So I watched him play last year.
He got drafted 3rd overall. Like, he's a very talented hockey player.
And him and Cal Ritchie, no one could touch him on Storm. And Storm had like Luchenko and a couple of like Canada players too. So like, but those two dudes were awesome. And like their line mate, whoever he is, and he's Canadian, just take him too. Like, it's kind of like taking Chris Kunitz with Crosby. Yeah. Like, just take a whole line. Like, they took Devin Tays for Canada. He's a pretty good defenseman, but the reason they took him is because Kim and Cale Makar are pairing, and it makes things so much easier. When you just are like, all the guys are pairings. You got like Pietrangelo and Theodore as a pairing. There's nothing to worry about. Like, you already have chemistry built. So that was my bit. Or like, did the guys play AAA together? Like, at least try to find something that exists in chemistry before, because it looked like like I said, a bunch of guys who threw their fucking sticks in the middle of the ice every game.
Literal little strangers, dude.
Like, some of the guys knew each other. Like, of course, they all knows each other, but it's they're coming from different systems all the time, and I think ridiculous. Like, it's always this old coach mentality. Dave Cameron's like 62, and like they're like McKenna. Like, McKenna started on the 4th line, I think, in the pre-tournament games, and it's like, yes, I understand he's young. He's young, but if he's your best player, you could just put him on the first line.
Dude,
and if you need,
and maybe get some practices in there and get the guys to like roll. You know what I mean? Get them to figure out how to play with the other guys.
You see teams do it all the time. Like, sometimes they did it with Nyes a lot last year. The Leafs did. He was on first line, but then sometimes if it was a defensive zone face-off, they'd put somebody else out there with Marner and Matthews, who was more defensive. You could still match that way. You have home ice. You have home ice every game until the quarters.
Yeah.
You could match it any way you wanted to. And they didn't start matching lines until the quarterfinal game. I'm like, there's a lot of McKenna was in the box for both 5-minute penalties. And it's like, what if against the Czechs took a penalty and McKenna couldn't be out there? Like, that is
4-on-4. I remember. Yeah. That's outrageous.
That's the guy you want out there for 4-on-4.
I just looked it up too. And McKenna literally 60 points in 30 games in the WHL this year. Like, he's clearly one of your most talented players, and you're not playing him like he should have been, or at least not put in a position like he should have been in.
Yeah. And then, like, say with Beckett Seneca, because I read his stuff off to Jordan the other day. He's 18, 6'4", 200 pounds, player type. They say he's a dangler, a playmaker, and a two-way forward. Just exactly what Connor Canada needed.
Yeah.
Last year, 68 points in 63 games, which is like not the best, but he's also it's his age. This year, 59 and 33.
It's pretty good.
I just have so many issues. It's like them not taking Michael Haig, who plays in America. It's like it feels like it's you went to play for college, so we're gonna snub you because you didn't play in the CHL. And the guy has like more than a point per game in college, which is really hard to do.
Yeah. And another thing too is like McKenna's just after coming off that tournament with the Canada under 18 too. He never dominated per se, but he played very well there in a very high offensive role. And I know he's a bit younger, obviously still wearing the cage and everything, but you know, it to me it don't add up what they were trying to do with the lines. And you know what? As many things as went wrong, it just felt like there was no. When you go back to the coaching, there was no incentive to make any changes. Like what was going on there? It was like, all right, let's just keep rolling it, not practicing.
Eventually it'll work hard, not.
Yeah.
Porter Bertone and Reitkopf, I think his name is. They both play for Brampton Steel or Battalion or whatever they are. I seen them play this year. The Buys beat Storm 12-1. Both of them had a hat trick each. They both, in the last like 80 games or something in the OHL, both have like 70 goals each. They play on the same line. They wouldn't play. Like one of them would play and the other one wouldn't. And it's like, can't they just be like on the fourth line together and just try to create something? Because they're also huge too. Someone they left off that we forgot to mention too, and I was just about to say it, is a killer. Michael Misa.
Yeah.
6'1", center left wing, 185 pounds. He might go first overall this year.
Yeah, he's projected top 5 by most of everyone. So, you know, and a lot of it's like top 3. So he's going to go high in the draft. And, you know, you're just leaving off, like, again, this offensive talent. You look at the team, they're not scoring goals. And what do?
Yeah.
You did it to yourself.
What is it? 67 games last year, 75 points as a 17-year-old. This year, 34 games, 66 points.
32 goals in 34 games.
Yeah.
That's insane.
The one thing that I pointed out to Jordan about him the other day, too, was his Canada under 18 at the Holinka Gretzky. 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points in 5 games.
I didn't even realize he was on that team.
So
yeah, it makes sense he was.
How come he's not on the team?
It's outrageous they didn't take this guy.
I think he might actually be the biggest snub. Him and Zane. Like, I think Beckett Seneca's sick and whatnot. But I think Zane Perrick and this guy are like huge.
I never even I know like Zane Perrick obviously dominated last year, but I never even looked at his stats this year. How was it? He's probably 2 points per game or whatever, is he?
Yeah, he's like 1.5 per game.
Yeah, it's about the same as pretty similar to Yakimchuk, but a few more apples, a few more assists there.
And then there's one more also left off that I want to mention because we were talking about the other day.
Zane Perek is also on that same team, Saginaw Spirit.
Yeah.
As Michael Misa.
Yeah, put guys on power play together.
What happened here?
It feels like
and you were talking about too. Their coach
is sick.
So, oh man. I don't understand what just like the decisions that went into this. And, you know, I actually do think there's an aspect of them being like, hey, it didn't work out last year. We had some skilled players or whatever. And let's just build a team based on, you know, toughness and whatever. And I'm not saying every player on the team was like that, but they just tried to build a team that they thought was like structured or something with no structure of chemistry. Yeah. It made no sense what they did.
Recipe for failure, man. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I also want to send a quick shout out to Andrew Crystal.
I'm not sure. I forgot about him
snubbed.
Too. I mean,
his stat line is he's a bit of a, like last year, 62 games, 111 points. This year, 28 games, 60 points.
Oh my God!
That's more than 2 points. That's like 2 points. That's 2 points a game.
Holy shit!
In 7 games at the under 18 World Juniors, 6 points. At the Holinka Gretzky, 6 points in 5 games. So he is a proven junior player and also proven playing for Canada. How does he get left off the team? He's also 19 years old. It's his last year. This is the one I'm going to freak out about the most, I think, because it actually pisses me off.
Because it's the last year he could have got on the team, man. Like,
dude, he's on pace for 131 points.
That's 57 goals. Like, hello.
And I mean, guys, we can talk about it all we want to. It's not just about the points, but the fact is they left off all of these players, like all of these high offensive players.
It wouldn't be so bad if it was only a couple players, man, but like it's a half a dozen plus.
And another one, I think, who got snubbed. He's not having the greatest year right now, but he's proven. T.J. Ginla. I can't believe they left Jerome Ginla's son off.
Yeah.
The heart and soul Canada by. They should have done it.
Last year he had over 100 points. I think he has tons of points in all the. Oh, actually, he actually had like 12 points in the Hlinka Gretzky. Like, dude, this is where I'm actually starting to get angry because I'm starting to think, and it's none of the guys on the team this year's fault. It's who was picking the team.
It's what could have been, man. It's just it sucks so much.
Who was picking the team?
Yeah. Oh man.
Like, it's actually shocking. And like, I tries to be calm about. No, I don't. Sports is the one thing that sports is the one thing. Sports puts me into another like mindset, man. Like, it blacks me out and stuff. And then especially when I'm watching the goddamn game against the Czechs and they scores a minute in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember they were pumping up that game, being like, Canada just got a not get scored on first. And wasn't it like 30 seconds into the game or something?
It was like 45 seconds in, I'm pretty sure.
And it's just like, man, they're just doing exactly what we don't need them to do right now.
I just had to call up. Keep going.
No, I was just going to say it was just off of a really awkward play where both the players did not, communicate, and they just like let it happen. They both focused on the one guy that was coming in on the wing and not the guy going to the net. So it was just like
the second goal. I don't blame Dickinson. Random things happen, and honestly,
that's whatever.
That should be water off the back because you should be beating the Czechs like 5-1. I don't care. That's my opinion. I think Canada's best against the Czechs best. Canada's better. That's my opinion. In any, I got T.J. Ginla up here right quick. I just want to go over his stat lines. Canada Red under 17, 7 points in 7 games. Kelowna Rockets as a 17-year-old, 47 goals, 37 assists, 84 points in 64 games. Canada under 18. 12 points in 7 games, 6 goals, 6 assists at the World Junior Championships under 18. Kelowna Rockets, this year he's assistant captain, 33 points, 21 games.
Projected 82 points. Not too bad.
Not too bad. And like, he's having maybe a bit of a not as good of a year, but like last year he scored almost 50 and is like only scores more than he passes. That's kind of who they needed. They needed a guy who's just gonna like shoot it. And Easton Cowan is not a shooter, and he was shooting a lot. And I was he's a great passer.
Can we talk about something else that happened in the tournament that I just recognized as well?
What's that by?
Nobody on. Well, we can talk about how bad Canada did and how they couldn't score goals, but none of their players. What was the most points by any player on the team?
Brad Nadeau had 2 goals. He had the most goals.
Oh my!
But wasn't it like 3 points the most out of anybody on the team in 5 games?
13 dudes had a goal. That's the thing. A lot of people scored, but none of them scored a lot.
And that Nadeau guy, he plays in the AHL.
Don't even talk to me about him because they starts off the tournament. You're a net front presence. I looks at his stats and his highlights. The dude plays the shooting plays left wing on the power play like Ovechkin. As soon as they put him there against State, he scores. It's just like use dudes where they play. That is the easiest thing I can tell you.
Yeah, it was. Man, it's just so many things went just not in the way that. I don't know what they envisioned, to be honest, with the team that they tried to assemble. I don't know what they expected.
Who the fuck knows?
Oh, I got another thought, too. I bet if they with all those players we're listing there, Beckett Seneke, Michael Misa, Carter Yakinchuk, Zane Perek, whoever else was left off, I can't guarantee, but I bet if they put in two Canada teams into this tournament, that team would have done better than the team that was out there.
I fully agree.
100%.
That's the issue with it. That is literally the main issue. Like, because you have a team or an amount of skilled players there that can assemble a better team than what they put out there. And that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
That's a line there. Literally a line. If you do, like, just say, you probably would never play Yamichuk and Perek together because they're both so offensive. But just say you had two of them together, Kristal, Seneca, and Misa. That's a line.
Oh my God, that'd be dominant.
Yeah.
That's a better line than any line that they had.
It is. Dude.
Oh, man. And another thing, they were trying to, I don't know if they were trying to put in like, oh, this guy's a left wing, so we got to get a left wing and a right wing. It's like, guys, if they're that skilled of players, they're 17, 18 years old, they will find a way to play with anybody. It doesn't matter what position they play in the, you know what I mean? They'll figure it out, skilled, they'll figure it out.
Also, you talk to any hockey player, going from the center to the wing is like not even playing anymore. It's that big of a difference and that much easier. So any center, if they can't play the wings, they suck.
That's true. Yeah.
Team Canada, like going into the Four Nations, they're probably going to have a line full of centers. But it just works that way. If your best players are centers,
you know what, we could talk about the Four Nations lineup too. I do think there's some similar ideology going into that team building too.
We can, because I'm also going to it. I'm going to go see him play Sweden here.
Are you? Nice, man. That's awesome.
I think I'm going to dish out the cash. It's a bit expensive, but it's like, when can you see Crosby, McKinnon, and McDavid pass it up? And like, what I'll say before we go into that Four Nations thing,
it's a chance of a lifetime for some very, some of the most high-end talent like on a team ever.
Yeah.
We can say what we want about any other team, but any other team doesn't have Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, dudes who literally care. Like,
they live and breathe hockey, man.
And winning.
Yeah.
And winning.
Dude, did you guys see McDavid, how he freaked out? I think it was last year in the playoffs, and he went in the dressing room after the game or whatever.
I loved it.
I can't remember what he said, but gave me a lot of respect for him, man. What was it he said?
We can't be down fucking 3-0. It's like he's just fucking going out to be down 3-0 in the series and basically saying like, this isn't fucking good enough for fucking anyone. You know what?
Yeah. And what did they do? They almost came back, man. Literally. They literally won 3 games in a row after that. So
he has a bad practice and he sounds pissed.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, you got to have respect for Connor McDavid, man. He's one of the best. He's the best hockey player I've ever seen. Like, I don't know.
Oh my, that's not even close, dude. Like,
I know, right?
For so long, it was literally Canada's World Junior program goes in like the history of like, in the 80s, not very good, win a couple times. Early 90s, they got kicked out of like 2 tournaments for fighting and stuff. It was a bit like, and then enters like not doing very well. They're like, okay, we're starting the program excellence, which basically means gold or nothing. Essentially was like the mantra of Team Canada World Juniors for so long. And that's what Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, all those guys grew up in. And they all talk about like how it made them better. And like, I want guys who are going to go home and can't even sleep. That's how much, even if they won and they didn't play well, that's the kind of hockey player I want. I want someone who losing is just unacceptable. Because like, I've seen Canada lose in the World Juniors in like the finals and stuff. And it's been like, wow, like, fuck. A best of the one stuff is going to happen. But they couldn't figure it out at all, and they didn't practice. And Dave Cameron is like probably a bit of a dinosaur. And like the Ottawa 67s are like 500 this year. Why is he the coach? It should be like, if you're picking the best players, it should also be the best coach.
Yeah, and dude, I remember. Well, you remember when he coached Ottawa? It literally just felt like the same old story again, man. You just watch him just continue to be like okay with the fact that they're not doing well. It's not that he's not okay with it; it's just that he does nothing to change the issues that are happening on the ice, or even if he had some say in the roster. Like I don't know what it was all about, right?
My biggest problem with it too is at the end when they lost and they're interviewing him, they asked him. He was like, "Oh, I figured this is exactly how it went. There was going to be 3 or 4 teams who could win it, and that's kind of how it went." And then they asked him if he regretted anything, and he said no. And it's like, you should have said yes. And not like he should have been like, oh, player choices, whatever. He should have said, yeah, a couple of my decisions, I really regret them. Because like that's like you don't regret challenging that goal against the Czechs that was obviously goaltender interference. That's horrible.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue, dude.
That was ridiculous.
Your team got all your team is undisciplined and you say you can't figure it out. I know how you can figure it out pretty quick. Sit down there and you're not getting back out on that ice again this game. That's how you figure it out.
Yeah, man. Make the players feel something, I guess, too. You got to sit players down when they're not like showing up or playing to whatever potential they had.
Yeah,
so
and
it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, there's dudes that, not to call people out, but there really felt like some absolute pedestrians on this team, man. Some guys where I was like texting the boys and being like, who?
You know what? It felt like they just assembled a team of a lot of the same type of player, right? Like
no diversity, man.
No diversity. But like,
well, they have the literal fucking the little 3 line, the second to fourth line is 9 of the same guy.
Not the same guy. Copy pasted.
Basically. It just, man. Besides Cowan, dude, McKenna was an extra forward at the beginning.
I know. Yeah. Dude, that defensive pairing, like, oh man, too. When you look at what's left off, it's just like it hurts.
Like the boys are way better than I'll ever be, and like they're probably better than me when they were 4 years old. But like
they're great hockey. Like we said, we're not calling out anybody individually, but you just look at again what we were talking about, who they left off, man. It's
but
you
there's
just
9 players.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you just got to ask yourself like what was going into the decision making of it, right? And honestly, we haven't even touched on this at all. I don't think the goaltending was perfect. I thought the goaltending was awesome.
I thought the goaltending was fine too. I didn't see anything wrong with it at all.
I thought against Czechs, he probably would have liked one of them back, but also don't you
can't nitpick, right?
No, because the States' goalie, who is apparently the best goalie going into a tournament, he didn't have a great tournament. Trey Augustine. That's the thing that bothers me. The other thing that we didn't get into is that the team that made the finals and almost beat the States, Canada beat 4-0. Like this, I really do think a couple of different changes in this team, they would have made the gold medal game. I don't know if they would have won it, but I think they would have made it.
Yeah,
they would have qualified for something.
I said the second that roster was announced, I said, well, and I mentioned to you guys I wasn't as invested to even watch this because I knew how it was going to go, and I watched a bit of it, but I just I think I said to you, Jordan, right away from the beginning of the tournament, I was like, U.S. is winning this tournament. Like it was,
it was theirs to lose from the beginning, man.
It literally was, and they almost did lose to Finland in the gold medal game, but I don't know if you guys watched the gold medal game, but man, oh man, they were dominant, and that just goes to show that. And Canada, I won't say they had like against the U.S. What was the score of that game?
4-1, I think.
4-1. Yeah, we watched that together actually, and that was.
They could have beat them if they didn't take 8 penalties.
Yeah,
they spent the whole game on the penalty kill. So
it was brutal.
That's what I mean.
Just as an instance, like we're talking about, the people they left off, Beck Seneke, 59 points, 33 games. Luca Pinelli, just for instance, is that his name, Luca Pinelli?
Yeah.
He's 5'9". So what's Seneke? I'm just curious now. I'm just trying to
6'4".
59 points in 33 games. Luca Pinelli, usually if you're a small player, you're very offensive and dynamic. This season, 37 points in 26 games.
And he's playing on a line with Gavin McKenna.
Is he?
Yeah, that's who he played with in the World Juniors. In the World Juniors.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was him and Catton and McKenna, and no offense to Pinelli and Catton, but McKenna's used to playing with dudes that he don't have to look for you. He knows where you're going to be because you're that instinctual as well. And like those kinds of, let's just say, Michael Misa, a dude that's just Ortiz Ginla, dudes who are just hunting for goals.
Yeah. Now, I got to say, I do like Berkeley Catton. I think he's a pretty high-end.
He's great.
He should have been. He should have been on the team, like top two lines for sure. Even if we did end up with Seneke and all the other guys too, right? So
not to bury anyone, but Pinelli, man, like that's, and he plays for the 67, so that's like Dave Cameron taking his son there. It's like, can you just take? Well, apparently the WHL is where all the players are at. As much as people are saying the OHL is good and whatnot, WHL apparently has a lot of really good players.
I agree.
Like 4 guys from there.
Who is also Matthew Catterford?
He won MVP last year in Q. He's good. He's pretty good.
Okay.
He was the only East Coast player. That's another thing too.
90 points and won the MVP.
Yeah, they
never even did anything in the playoffs.
He's
4 games.
He won
MVP.
He's two-way, right? So like,
okay, so he won okay. Well, 6 foot, 190 pounds. So he was like someone, to do a two-way. But again, I guess we're just nitpicking, I guess, at this point. But you know what I mean.
I don't mind you taking the MVP of the Q last year. And
no, 100%. I didn't realize that. I wasn't as familiar with him. Even when I remember hearing his name, like getting called on the TV, I was like, who? But it's just because I'm not. I haven't been following the Q the last year or so. But yeah, he's.
You better get back into it, because Acadie Bathurst is coming to St.
I know,
John's.
dude. I want. All right, this is another thing I want. I would. Let's bring back the Fog Devils, guys. Literally. Let's
is
get
that
them
what you
going
think
again.
their name should be?
No, yeah, 100%. Let's go. Like I want
Jordan,
some back.
Yeah, we were going over some possible names the other day, but I think their color should be like literally Mary Brown's color, like that weird orange and that off brown. It'd be sick, man. It'd be so funny if the guys embrace
just a big piece of chicken on the jersey, dude. I will be going to games. I love Q hockey, and I actually, you know what? I'll be fully invested into that because I love that. That was the best hockey we had here in a while, man. Well, we had the AHL, we had the Growlers here, but the Q was, I remember, and then obviously that was 2005. We can go back 2005 or 2008 or something. The Fog Devils were here, and that was I remember that. That was me initiating me into hockey. Honestly, that was when I started watching it and being like, Danny Heatley's the best, man. That was the same years, 05, 06. 06,
and when they had that team there, I knew about everything in junior because I was following. So I think next year I'll probably know a lot more about the Canada team too. Yeah, I hope you're someone good enough on the Newfoundland team to make Canada, man. I want sick.
Yeah, I'm curious now. I want to look at their
first
roster.
Thing they should do is go and I don't know. There's a couple Newfoundlanders in the queue now. Go find the best Newfoundlander in the queue, trade for him, get him on your team.
Yeah, they should. That's dude, stuff like
Chris Thorne coach. Imagine.
Oh my god,
Chris Thorne played with him. He's from Long Cove. That's sick.
I remember that.
Oh man.
I remember one time going out watching him, and he fought, man. He beat the shit out of Buddy. It was.
I gotta
sick.
say they don't look like they got a very good team this year now.
Oh, they're not. But the way that junior works, it's you're bad unless you're the London Knights or one of those teams that definitely pays its players. You're bad for a year or two, and then your team is basically all older people or all overagers, and then you're good, and then you're bad, then you're good.
Yeah. Can we also say can they actually fucking keep a team here, man? My God,
dude, it's pretty embarrassing.
And this is a team I'm down with the Q staying here. I love that.
100%. There needs to be hockey in Newfoundland, dude. And in St. John's, there needs to be a hockey team there.
And it needs to keep a team here so that we're not always confused about who we're even going to cheer for by. They got a new team every couple of years, man. It's insane.
We'll keep going on this topic, but I just want to say I think we're pretty good with Canada now. I just think the moral of the story is like they just picked probably the wrong team. They probably galaxy brained it like they do
I think
sometimes.
they overthought it.
Yeah, galaxy brained it. Exactly. Yeah. They had maybe just taken the best player sometimes. Like I heard this argument the other day. I would rather lose knowing I took the best players than lose like being like, did I take the best players?
Yeah.
If you take those guys we said and you lose, like no offense about some of the guys, but I bet if they took Beckett Seneca and they won, I bet you no one's like, oh well, they could have took Luca Pinelli. And no offense to him.
That's a good point, buddy.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like we wouldn't even have been like, you know what, the name wouldn't even have been brought up kind of thing, right? No. But it was just so obvious. Like we said, they could have assembled probably another full team and probably had, you know, a very competitive team in that tournament with the other players that were left off. And that's unacceptable in a way. But you know what? I don't know. They missed. It was a big miss this year, guys. It really was.
Yeah.
A letdown for the nation, boys.
So going back to keeping a team in Newfoundland, the conversation about a hockey team in Newfoundland, we're bringing the Acadie Bathurst Titans, who will be coming into St. John's. But
Mary
like
Brown
you said,
Center.
Jordan, Mary Brown Center. But like you said, keeping a team there. And then I looks on social media and all the comments are, oh, yeah, won't be sold there. Just another team to come and go. How many games do you go to, boys? Like, I said, Jordan Reed the other day, when Growlers games are on to go, I try to get like 15 people to go to them. Get a crowd go down. It's good laugh.
I mean, tickets were cheap as dirt. Why wouldn't you go buy it? It is a good laugh.
And dude, tickets for the queue, the most expensive ticket is only going to be like $50, and that's behind the bench. Like that's
going to be able to get. I'm going to look up Acadie Bathurst Titan tickets right now, just as an example. I know they probably will be more
at the Storm games, but I compare to the Storm in the OHL in Guelph.
Yeah,
the most expensive ticket there, man, is like $60, which is behind the bench.
That's not bad at all,
No, and I don't think it's going to change much. They're going to need to attract people. So, and the best thing about Mile 1, there's not a bad seat there. It's all good. What are you laughing at? Ticket prices right now?
No, not that. I don't know if Sean Couturier used to play for that team, but the stadium that they play at, or their regional center, or whatever I'm reading, is on Sean Couturier Avenue.
I'd say he's from Acadie Bathurst.
He must be, yeah. No, I just thought that was funny. Then when I seen that, I was like, what? I can't find the ticket prices right now, or not yet.
But everybody who complains about the team doesn't go.
No, don't support them. Like, show up, win and lose. Like, you live and die with your team. It's like, I'm a Sens fan. I'll live and die with them. I don't care if you don't make the playoffs for the next 40 years.
That's what I mean. The buys in, like, the thing is, like, the first year, next year, it will be blocked every game. It will be busy, especially if they're all right. That always happens. And then the second year,
the big thing is, can they survive a second year, dude? Because like obviously you're going to survive a first year because it's like it's new and people are going to be interested in, like, the stadium's going to be full. But like they got to keep it rolling by. They got to be consistent with it.
Now, the Growlers did have COVID to deal with, which did shut them down for a year, which must have been brutal. It must have been hard.
Yeah, I agree.
But
didn't they have Matt Cook as their coach?
The Growlers did.
Well, the tickets for the, I don't know. Apparently, if you're under 11, you can buy a ticket for $8. What? And $21 in almost every seat in the whole stadium. What I'm looking at, unless I'm reading wrong here. No,
you're probably not. It won't change. Dude,
$21 in almost every seat, dude. Can we get that here? Will that happen?
It'll be a bit more expensive because of traveling. They're gonna have to do something because of flying in. I know,
but I don't want it to be. I want it to be like maximum 25. At least be able to get a seat for $25.
But they might not be. They might not be flying all the time. There might be sometimes they're taking the ferry.
Yeah.
There might be sometimes they're taking the ferry because of just the way that like Eastern Canada works. But like going to Quebec, they're definitely going to have to fly. Yeah, like I'd say you might see tickets be like $10, like $20 more and better seats, but like up in the like higher sections of Mayor Brand Center, it'll probably be like 20. But then if you just wait until game day, you'll be able to buy a ticket off someone on Kijiji for $10.
I'm still just shocked. Wait, what's this free child with an adult or senior? $0 ticket. Buys, they must be giving them away.
They're not very good, and they're leaving too. So they're like, and they've been there for a long time.
Yeah. Oh,
it's actually kind of sad.
Yeah. Who was it used to play for this? Philip. And I remember Ottawa Senators used to have a prospect there, Philip Schlappick, I think.
And they're probably just going somewhere to leave again. It's the worst thing about it.
Yeah.
No, he played for Charlottetown Islanders. That's a different team. But yeah.
But it'll be cool to see some junior hockey in Newfoundland again. I'm
good because you can see, I think it's better. It's not structured hockey, which makes it more interesting too. It's a lot of players that are literally giving it their all, literally wants to make the show, and they've been training their whole lives, and it's just cool to see these like young players like trying to do what they do.
Yeah, and you also get some dudes who are like, for some reason, like they're an overager and they're not drafted, but they get like 180 points for some reason, like because they've just been playing in the queue for like 4 years and they're just older than everyone. And then like the best thing, like you said, Jordan, when the Five Devils were there before, like seeing Marchand play, seeing a lot of good buys come through.
You know what? Did we see Crosby play?
No.
It was the year after, was it? What year Crosby was drafted? When? 05 or 06?
I think it's 06.
05 lockout year.
Is it?
He was drafted and then he went to the year he's drafted 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Crosby played in the stadium.
You want some nostalgia names here?
Go on.
TJ Brennan. Luke Adam.
Luke Adam, yeah.
Actually, all-time leading scorer for the Five Devils too. I don't even remember this guy. Wesley Welter. Who?
Don't know. Never.
He's from town, He's from town. Yeah. Jake Allen played for Five Devils.
I was just gonna say the biggest one we're leaving on.
You know who played for him after they went to Montreal? Literally the year they went to Montreal, they got Angelo Esposito.
But I mean, then he turned out to be. I don't even know.
But see, that's the thing.
He was there.
But let's talk about it. Team Canada took him. He was deadly for Team Canada. Didn't pan out for him in the NHL, but he was one of the best players in junior.
Yeah,
that's the thing. A lot of these dudes who have great junior careers never do nothing in the NHL, but they win the World Junior. Going back to that, they also had a crowd from Newfoundland on their team.
I got it all here in front of me from the first year they were here, anyways. Matt Boland from Gander.
Yeah.
Steve Tilley from Mount Pearl. Jonathan Reed from Paradise. Devin O'Brien, Town. Paul Robathan, Rody Short. Pat O'Keefe, I remember. Ryan Graham, Wesley Welcher, Scott Brophy, Luke Gallant. Oh, wait, no, not Luke Gallant. Yeah, Scott Brophy was the last one from the first year anyways. And
dude, is that like half the team?
Yeah, it was. Now, some of them, I got to say, only got in a couple of games, but that makes sense because, you're just trying to get somebody to fill a roster spot when somebody's injured or something.
There was definitely some nights, man, they had like 14 buys in the lineup. Like, it was basically just all Newfoundland team.
Same with like what they did with the Growlers last few years, right? It was just nice to have those hometown guys there. So if you can do that with the up and coming best Newfoundland players, then you're literally going to be. You know what is another great aspect of this happening is that you're going to be upping increasing the talent level of the people in Newfoundland because they're going to be all pushing each other to make this team or whatever. So it's literally going to give people from Newfoundland more of an opportunity to jump in and be like, hey, I can make the NHL or whatever, right? It's like, cool. It's really cool.
If your team is coming in for the weekend, what's stopping your scout going to see the AAA game up in St. John's? I think it's just gonna,
And another thing too, obviously we could look at the players coming out of our stadium, and that like we could have been like over the last however many years, like since 2008, they haven't had a team. So all these skilled hockey players, a lot of them are like, well, I'm not moving away. I don't want to move away and go play in the queue or whatever, right? So but now this brings an opportunity for the people that are here, regardless if, I'm not just referring to the people from our stadium, but even the skilled people from St. John's that just don't move away and just continue to play senior hockey or whatever. This puts him into a very high potential, high skill bracket and not even have to move.
And younger players have gotten better. Players have gotten better in Newfoundland too. Since the Fog Devils, like there's more players coming out of Newfoundland playing in junior.
I guess that's the point I'm trying to touch on. Yeah, because like we've seen it. It's the talent level's crazy. I don't know if I can pull up any of the, whatever teams.
There is a lot of Newfoundlanders in the queue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say there's over 20.
Yeah,
which is a lot. Like if you're
that's a ton.
And you know what? This could bring 5, 6, maybe 7 more to the team because I think there's tryouts in that for this. It also, in another aspect too, it gives St. John's, or not even St. John's, but Newfoundland players, like all these, scouting and whatever. Scouts will be here in Newfoundland now, looking at players. And maybe we'll be like, hey, let's go check out even the senior game. Like, I don't know. Maybe
that's literally what I said, like about NHL scouts will be coming, also like you'll see a few make the trip.
It's way better for hockey than the teams that we've had for hockey in Newfoundland. This can really enhance the levels of hockey that we'll see here over the years.
I agree. For sure.
Yeah. So basically anyone listening to this, go see the games next year if you can.
Yes, go support the boss for God's sake.
I guess one last topic before we go is really quickly to look ahead. To go back to Hockey Canada, we're going to look ahead to the Four Nations Cup and I don't put much. I think this tournament, Jordan, you said there's a few buys they took that you're like, and I agree, but I think it's kind of a tryout for some of them for the Olympics. Some of those buys, it's like, if you play well, you'll make the Olympic team. If you don't, we're not even thinking about you. And I think those guys are like Travis Konecny, Hagel, Travis Sanheim. There's a few of them there that you're like, I can't believe John Tavares never made team.
You never?
I didn't know that.
Deadly year.
I can. It makes sense to me because I feel like he's still a great hockey player, but he's lost a lot of foot speed.
It took Sam Bennett, though. He hasn't scored since December 1st.
Yeah, that one's an interesting choice. But I think what they're looking at there is like Stanley Cup last year.
There's a potential that your top penalty killing line is Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett.
That's unreal.
But
that's
Sam
why
Bennett,
you bring them, right?
If they're not in the box.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait to cheer for those guys because I hate their teams. Florida, out the door. Boston, go. But like the fact that I get to cheer for those guys now, it's sick because I can be like Sam Bennett.
Yeah, those are the kind of players
dangerous.
Those are the kind of players that you hate if they're not on your team, and that's what they do. They're agitators, right?
Yes, man.
Everyone else, though, like, I think Marner, obviously, he's second in points in the NHL. McDavid, Crosby, like, yeah.
That's the thing. Crosby, hello?
Braden Point. Like, Crosby's old, but he's not old.
No,
you know what I mean? So, like, he hasn't slowed down at all. He's arguably maybe even better because he's smarter than he ever, like, goalie is...
Yeah, that's where it gets interesting, but goalie situation is... I don't know.
And here I'll get angry for you guys again because there's a goalie they could have took, but they never.
Who by? Go on.
Logan Thompson. He's like 18-2-2.
No, here's another option too, and I believe he actually has Canadian.
No, he couldn't get it after Joey Decord.
Yeah,
he couldn't get passport in time.
Oh no way! I didn't read into that. Man, but he would. I don't. I'm gonna check his numbers right now. Yeah, he would have been one of their best options, which is like, come on. Where's all the goaltending talent? And I'm not Joey Decord's an excellent goalie, but I don't know. It's crazy when you look at US and they got Hellebuck and who else do they got? Oh my God, my name it all slipped my head.
But you know what Hellebuck loves to do? Choke in big games.
Well, I mean, there's a reason they don't make it far in the play. I'm not saying it's just him, but they haven't made it far in the playoffs yet. So,
oh, sorry. Logan Thompson is 16-2.
for who?
Washington.
Washington, yeah.
What is he doing?
Jordan Beaufort, goalies catches right.
That's wild.
They got him and Charlie Lindgren, and it's nuts. Spies looks like they plays road hockey, man. Two of them are absolute road. Like Charlie Lindgren is a road hockey goaltender.
16-2-2, man.
Span.
With no, let's not forget with a 239 goals against average and a 916 save percentage, playing on Washington's pretty good, but you put him in front of Canada's defense, I just can't see. Like not taking him, go fuck yourself, buys. Not just that. He was pretty good for.
I was just gonna say, I feel like they're basing it on recency bias or previous years, but you look at his previous years, he's not that bad, dude. He's played 123 games in the NHL. He has 72 and 34 with a 913 save percentage.
I understand taking Aiden Hill. Actually, you take him and Aiden Hill. Him and Aiden Hill played as a
yeah, they were a tandem, dude.
They were a tandem last year. Why not take two guys that knows each other?
Bennington, that seems so obvious. I hate Jordan Bennington more than anyone else in the NHL. He's such a man.
You can look at Aiden Hill's numbers, and they're not very good. But Aiden Hill plays in front of a good team, which is kind of Canada. Like I just think the fact that you never took two of those dudes. Like, they took Montembeault. Montreal sucks.
They're making a comeback by it. They're starting to win hockey games for some reason. They beat Winnipeg the other night. They beat Detroit last night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I think the last time I checked, they had almost had to win every one of their games to be guaranteed a playoff spot.
No, dude, the East is close as fuck now. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous, man. Ottawa held in a playoffs, the last wild card spot for like a week since before Christmas, and I don't know how they haven't won at all. They're on a downslide. Losing Allmark is brutal for Ottawa right now. This time,
it's awful.
I'm the only team I'm really worried about is Florida because that's who Toronto will be in a race with all year. So
I think we're getting Leafs and Sens first round. Hey,
no, I hope it's going to be Leafs and Boston, and Leafs finally beats them.
Well, you need to keep the repeat going until they actually does it. Hey,
yeah, I'm just looking at Logan Thompson.
I'd feel so bad. Well, I wouldn't feel bad. I'd be pumped. But if Ottawa made it in, beat the Leafs in the first round, I'd be like, man, that
would be outrageous.
That would be brutal on the Leafs fan side. For the Leafs part.
I'm just looking at Logan Thompson now. His first year as a rookie, he went 10-5, 268, 914. Year after, 21-13, 265, 915. The dude has been good. So basically, with this Team Canada, it feels like they're galaxy braining it again instead of just not taking the potential best players.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess in one sense they are taking, and I was going to say Aiden Hill is a little more of a veteran than Logan Thompson. They're the same fucking age.
They won a cup together. I don't understand. And Binghamton, I kind of get it. He's won a cup.
I actually like the pick of Hill. No, he's not having a great year, but I do like Aiden Hill as a goalie. I've always liked him since he came into the league with Arizona.
He's been solid.
It kind of feels like they're doing a 2006 Olympic thing again, where they just galaxy brained it and they took guys such as Wade Redden. Like, no offense to Wade Redden, but he was never good enough to play for Team Canada. He was pretty good back then, but not as good enough to play for Team Canada. They took Shane Doan. And again, a great guy, but he was not good enough to play for Team Canada.
The same thing they did with this current World Junior. Great guys. Let's just pick a bunch of great guys.
Brian McCabe, Robin Regier.
Yeah.
Ryan Smith. Just like guys that you're like, I feel like we owe something to him. It's like you don't owe nothing. They didn't take Crosby that year. Crosby had 105 points in his rookie year. That's a joke. You're actually a joke organization. And that's the same thing. Bedard's not good enough to take, though. He's actually kind of disappointing. And
you don't like. I think Bedard's having a really off year. I'm not sure if he's playing injured or I don't know what his stat line is like. But for instance, what's his name? Macklin Celebrini looks twice the player already.
And he might be.
Like he looks unbelievable. You know
One thing that really exposes Bedard is his speed. He's not very fast.
I noticed that from the first time I seen him in the World Juniors. But didn't he? What was his stat line in the World Juniors that year?
Yeah, but dude, insane. he could shoot like better than anyone. He can shoot from
anywhere. But that's the thing. He's the kind of player, and he can do it all himself. But he will succeed much more if he has like the proper wingers to play with too, right?
Dude, there was one game in the World Juniors where he was going on 2-on-1 with Dylan Gauthier. He was looking at him the entire time and had his stick ready to pass, and then it just was top corner.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing about him. He was just so when you put him against all the rookies in the NHL in a game, he's probably one of the best players still. But playing against older, he's not really big.
No.
So he had 23 points in 7 games that year with the Canada. That was nuts.
that was actually tournament record.
That's crazy.
Sure. I knew it was something out of control.
And that year they had to win in overtime.
Yeah. Because he tied it up, didn't they? With a minute left.
He tied it up, and then he passed it to Dylan Gauthier, and Dylan Gauthier just ripped it to win. That year, man, they had fucking Kent Janssen, Bedard, Zach Dean was with him that year.
Zach Dean.
That was a good. He's from town.
I know.
He's injured, I think, this year. I don't think he played very much at all.
So, like, they had that team. There was a couple of years that Canada won it there. That they had a great. Actually, they won it a couple times there, right in a row. It was like 2 in a row, and then one like a year or two before that when they had like Lafreniere and all them.
Oh yeah.
Actually, going back to Connor Bedard, the year that they won, the Russians beat them 6-0 on Boxing Day. And before we go any further, let's be honest. Tournament without Russia is not a real tournament anyway. So that's my other.
Yeah, you're leaving out half of the most talented players around, man. They're always a very competitive team in the tournaments, and they should be playing. Like, I
totally agree. There's a lot of double standards in our world.
It shouldn't be. You know what? The politics of it all shouldn't have anything to do with the game. You know what I mean? Like that side.
Yeah, but you also don't have the Olympics does this all the time. You don't have to call it Russia. You just call it the it's like the
USSR or whatever.
No, it's a certain name of like the players representing Russia. Like, you know what I mean? It's the way they name it.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The Republic of Russia.
Or
whatever. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so they could just do that. But Russia, and like that's the thing that bothers me. It's like, and then you're waiting. Like I finally seen Mishkov play last night for the first time, and it's like, man, that guy. But he did play World Juniors, didn't he?
Guy in Philly, Mishkov.
Yeah, he played World Juniors.
He's so good, man. Oh my god, he can score from anywhere too. It's really cool to watch.
Watched him last night. He didn't really, but Philly's also just bad.
Yeah,
bad team.
And again, Philly's probably in a playoff hunt too. I don't know what the points are like right now.
But me and Jordan talked about this the other day. There's only 4 good teams in the NHL. The NHL works like this. There's 4 good teams. Everyone else is mid. Then there's like 15 to 16 mid teams, and then the rest are horrendous. Probably shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah.
I'm
happy for the first time in a while Ottawa's actually a mid team and not right at the bottom.
No, but that's the thing I hate. Like, I hate the salary cap. I think the salary cap is a huge issue. I also think like
you see that contract that Vetrano signed?
Yeah,
that's wild. I've never seen that, the likes of that. You hear about that, Jordan?
No, I never heard what you're talking about.
So he signed a contract. It was I think it's 3 years at $18 million. I don't have it in front of me. But basically, they got some kind of or cap retention. I don't know how it works exactly, but he's going to get their salary caps. Like it's basically a $6 million a year contract, and their salary cap's only going to be $4.5 million or something for the next 3 years, because they're going to pay him over the next 10 years. So he basically got retirement fund.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of players are doing that now. That's basically. Shohei Ohtani is only took almost $1 billion contract and is only taking like $1 million a year until he retires. Then they're giving him like $600 million when he retires.
Yeah.
That's probably the best.
So Vetrano is probably not going to play for Anaheim for this long, but that money's still going to be being paid. I don't know if that whole contract, that'd be a hard contract to trade, I would imagine, in that sense. If that all, unless if it stays with Anaheim. I'm not sure how that works.
A lot of people think that, but like, if they trade at Marner, just say if the Leafs trade at Marner, Matthews, Nylander, any of those guys are paid a lot higher to a team, that team is technically not even paying them because most of their pay has already been paid in bonuses. Like when Matthews signed like that $100 million contract, I think he got like $80 million up front.
I wouldn't even want that up front, man. I'd be
so then you're just playing. Then you're just playing for like $2 million a year. Only, but then it's easier. Like then, if there wasn't a salary cap, teams would actually be more likely to pick you up because they actually only had to pay you so much in real dollars. That's the big, like the salary cap is just garbage, and how many teams are in the NHL is garbage too. Because it's just going to be eventually like they're going to be drafting players from fucking Chance Cove.
You know what? You know what they got to do though? If they're gonna keep expanding the league, they got to expand the playoff bracket because it's just gonna be half the teams make it. Well, actually, that's what it is now.
And less games make the playoffs. Man.
16 teams don't make the playoffs. Yeah, let's get less games, even less games in the preseason. Like, dude, I don't know. Talking about rivalries, I would love to see them really bring back rivalries more so, like, and have more games against their divisions, like in the actual regular season, because that makes some interesting hockey. Yeah, like, in my opinion, I love watching like Leafs and Sens or Leafs and Habs because I'm just like, let's go. But it doesn't have the same like punch to it anymore because they don't build up like any tension, right? So I mean that like Ridley Gregg slap shot into the empty net last year.
Oh my god!
But everyone's over that. Like it's
but that's what I mean. It's that long ago that it's like what the you know what I mean. But if they were playing 6 or 8 games a year against each other, I'm not saying even 8, just like even put it up the sure. But what's Ottawa and Toronto playing this year? Twice, 3 times,
3 times, 3.
Like that's not enough. They literally live they're in the same province.
The big issue. The 3 issue is that's another issue with the NHL. It's the third one. It's this whole Atlantic Metro. It should be Eastern Conference, Western Conference.
Ooh,
1 to 8.
Yeah.
1 to 8. Gary Bettman, I think this year or next year is his last year of his contract, and he probably won't re-sign because.
I mean, he's getting up there now too. He's a lot. Like, geez, I don't know how old he is, but
I don't expect But the salary cap is supposed to go up like a nice bit this year.
He's 72 by.
What? I wouldn't even say.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oof. Buddy's been at it forever, hey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's been there since like 91 or something.
Crazy. That's when Ottawa came into the league. Or
93.
93. Yeah, that's hockey. Team Canada. We talked about it a bit more than I thought we were going to talk about. I had a good name from the other day. I told Jordan fucking St. John's fucking 2-piece tater poutine.
Oh my god, yeah. You gotta
St. John's the tater poutines, yeah.
Dude, I'll never call it Mary Brown Center. It's mile 1. Grow
it
up.
is mile.
Yeah.
Dude, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
It's cool that it's Mary Brown Center that you get a feed of it there.
Well,
2 taters. Yeah. I like going there and getting can of India. That's what I likes.
I'll tell you one thing. Everything's so expensive at the stadiums, man. The recessions, it's crazy. Or what is that? What's the word? Is it recessions?
No,
I don't even.
Concessions.
Concessions. I was like,
at the recessions.
It is a recession, really. But
it's going to cause
technically, man, I'll any day.
I knew that didn't sound right.
Because a beer at Mary Brown Center, 2 beers is the price of 1 beer in Toronto.
Oh yeah, I kind of imagine.
Oh, I went. Well, I don't know. We never touched on this, but I went to the Leafs and Sens game up there last year, and literally, I think I paid $17 or $18 for 1 beer.
Oh, Jordan, I went to see Leafs in Vegas this year when Leafs beat them 3-0. It was sick.
No, that's awesome, man.
Fraser Mitten's first goal game.
Oh, good laugh.
I was there awesome, buddy. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
They had like half team hurt that night. Their third line was all AHL players, beat Vegas 3-0. Yeah. But yeah, so next year go see the whatever team, the Tater Poutines.
I'm gonna stick to it. I want them to be the Flag Devils just to keep the nostalgia going.
That'd be so sick, man.
You'll see us down there. We'll be down there.
Do you remember those jerseys, man? Oh,
yes, man.
I do.
Awesome.
Well, that's it for this week, guys, and thanks for listening, and hope you liked our Rantin and Ravin.
Fucking Hockey Canada, bye. What a bunch.
Yep.
Let's go. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, boss. Really appreciate it.
No problem, FellerPine. Thanks for coming by. We'll get you on again soon.
Yes, bye. Come on anytime for
proper interview or something. Bye.
Yes, man. We'll do it again. Absolutely, boss.
All right.
Right on. Good laugh.